Hello, and welcome back to Oolykee Gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and welcome back to another episode of Mod Spotlight. Right, disclaimer, this is my personal opinion, and nobody made me do this, I promise. Right, so we're gonna talk about a certain modder, and this is a spotlight of most of his mods, or a lot of them that I was able actually to build. That would be Robs074. I'm being a big Robs fan. I think I'm subscribed to every single mod he has. I double checked, triple checked, and I think fourth time as well. Looks like I am, but hey ho, while we're recording this, probably there's more mods coming out. So let's cover some of the things Robs did. Right, link in the description of the video will show you the link to Robs's, well, I believe that would be all the Robs's mods. Now, this was a really hard job to do because there's so many mods. Robs has one of the most mods in the game, and he released them individually. This is one of the reasons also why there's so many of them. They're not set as sets, but almost every single one of them, almost, has the skins as well involved, and some of them are quite amazing. Okay. Since there's so many of them, I'm gonna try to be fast with them. I'm just gonna show you some of them. This is probably the only mods, the bus stations, probably one of the only mods that doesn't have specific icon to it. I'm gonna show you what I mean. Usually Robs' mods, they have an icon of the city, I believe the city that they're from. So you would have these bus station mods, they don't. They're just clean mods like this. There are 3 of them. You have the link there, so you can check it out where it is. But there's 3 of these bus stations. One of them being the end station with a roundabout kind of function something over here, and 2 of them are passed through. One of them with stations on both sides, the other one with station on a single side. Okay, moving on. Okay, the next set is the distribution offices. We have 4, 8 and 15 slots. They are different sizes. They have their own paperwork offices, where they have garages for maintaining the vehicles, the whole shebang. They're not flat surfaces. And by the way, fun fact or tip, Robs' buildings are usually a little bit more expensive than the vanilla ones. Sometimes they're a little bit cheaper. For example, if you have a smaller radio station and it does really cost less to build, you don't have to build expensive one, but they are quite realistic in price compared to their size. So these ones will definitely set you back compared to vanilla ones. Something that I only recently subscribed to, and that would be Trolley Bus Depots. There's 2 of them. I haven't used them that much. I haven't used trolley buses that much, but as you can see here, there are 2 trolley bus stations. Another fun fact, Robs has most of his buildings set up with skins, so you can change multiple skins and set up your city as you want them to look like. Moving on to technical services, this is one of the buildings that you're probably gonna see multiple times. Again, you have 4, 8 and 15 vehicle technical services. Those are for cleaning your roads during the winter times. As you can see, there's the bookkeeping building where most of the paperwork is done. Then you have garages for maintaining the vehicles, and of course the biggest one has enormous amounts of space for maintenance of your vehicles. Beautiful models. Train stations, they're gonna be a tricky one. So you have simple train stations like these platforms over here, and then on the other side we have these train stations that are proper big train stations with the parking spaces and all. Well, the parking spaces was a lie part, but with the buildings and utilities, everything that a big city needs. Also, there are a couple of cargo stations, as you can see here, and they are quite versatile. They can be connected on all sides. They have even up to 6 lanes. Right, sticking to the traffic, we're gonna go with gas stations. 2 of them are small, 2 of them are big, and guess what? 2 of them are single entry point, 2 of them are double entry point. I'm gonna just select the roads so you can see which ones are which. They have 60 and 30 tons capacity respectively. Now this is something I haven't used a lot. I did use once the smaller one, but these are called car dealership. You can see how the buildings have unique features to them. That's because they are actually copies of the original buildings from the real life. They again have their own skins, and you can use any of them. This is a car dealer, has enormous amounts of space for cars. So if you have your big cities, you want to supply them with cars, there you go. One thing I will not show you in this episode is the separate warehouse that they have. These warehouses are like acting like open storage. They have exactly the same models for covered storage for the electronics, food, and the rest of the stuff. As you can see, these are all open storage: 1,100, 200 tons, 400 tons, 700 tons, and the biggest ones 1,600 tons respectively. Another two storages that just came up, well actually these three just came up. We have the older one here with the meat ones, with meat storage. This is a refrigeration unit that can hold 350 tons of meat, and the new ones would be the grain storages. This is one of my favorites mods recently. I've been using it a lot. 4,000 tons, or it will be 3,200 tons, 8,000 tons, and 5,600 tons. To each own. Culture, who doesn't like culture? So we have a couple of restaurants over here, good food and all that stuff. And then moving on, we have a couple of substations. These are unfortunately only Robs' substation he has. One of them is road connectable, the other one would be with footpaths, as you can see here. Both of them are quite modern for the 60s and 70s, but definitely fit in this game. And of course we have a heat exchanger. Unfortunately we only have a big one that has 300 cubic meter capacity. The smaller one should be around 100 cubic meters. Fortunately we can connect this one to both big and small, so you can use it in any case. Now this is something where we're gonna be lacking behind a little bit. I only selected 8 buildings here, but of course there's many more models that you can choose from. Now these are the shops, Polish shops mostly, if not exclusively. As you can see here, there are different sizes, different sale types, different everything. Rusalka was once long time ago one of my favorite ones, but then I found out that we don't have to cramp everything into 50-story high buildings, and then I found new love towards bigger buildings as well. So now we have some of these bigger shopping centers that are my favorites, or more used than Rusalka's there. Of course, we always have the very big grocery store with a big capacity for food sales. Right, television stations. We have a couple of television stations over here. As you can see, they are belong to different cities. Unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly which city it is because I don't recognize the signs. This would probably be, I'm not gonna even guess the cities, but you can see here by the city sign here, schedule. Now, another fun fact, Robs' mods can be differentiated by checking out this symbol. I think he's one of the rare people, if not the only one, using the city signs in the corner or coat of arms from the cities to distinguish his mods. Now these are one of the better ones. They're one of the bigger buildings. As you can see, we have a smaller radio station over here and 2 bigger television stations. Of course, their employment is really high and they're quite expensive if you want to build them yourself. As previously mentioned, culture. Now, in the vanilla game, we have that square box called a cinema. Now, Robs brings something different to the game. You have something from even smaller than the original cinema, which would be, well, cinema, Cosmos in this case, and then you have just a cinema named Cinema. Of course, there are different options for your people if you want to go, like Philharmonics, like Republic Theater, like Main Library, and of course Republic Theater number 2. This is probably one of the biggest theaters that we have in the game. Comes with a hefty price tag as well. Sports. Long time ago I did this as well. Now we have outdoor sports and we have indoor sports. Again, this is not all the mods Robs has for indoor or outdoor sports, and I will add another one after I presented these. Now these are outdoor sports that you can play outdoor, but bear in mind, if the temperature is too low, people won't be able to use these mods. And then you have the mods that you actually want to have in your country that are year-round sports playgrounds. That would be school gym, sports halls, big sports halls, and of course school gyms. Some of them are even made that they can fit next to the respectable schools, and of course you can always change their color scheme to fit the school and make it multi-purpose building. Moving on. One thing I forgot is this thing. It's called Big Sports Hall, but it's an absolutely amazing building. There are 2 different types of these buildings. This is, I believe, a bigger one. This is more like a sports complex with outdoor and indoor facilities. They do have a huge capacity and they can be heated, so technically they can be used year-round. I don't think we see people here, so you can't really see them play there, but technically they are indoor-outdoor sports hall. This is one of the best things I ever found. Well, one of my favorite buildings from Robs. Right, moving on to health system. If you go to your selection here with the hospitals, this is quite interesting, because the hospitals are one of the most interesting aspects here, because they cover different ages. I don't know if they are linked here, but you can see different design in the hospital. Some of them are fit for the older ages, 50s and 60s, and some of them are quite modern for the 80s, maybe even 90s. Well, let's say 80s more so. Some of them definitely fit and are being used even to this day. Now you have different hospitals with different capacities. As you can see, the number of workers, they usually correlate with the number of people that they can serve. The biggest ones being around 60 people. Now if you go back to the hospitals there, you can see that there's a lot of these models with icons in the top left hand corner. There are many buildings that I didn't build here that you can actually use yourself. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 hospitals you can find here in this selection, and also in the link in the description of the video. Right, firefighters. This is the fire station, or actually multiple fire stations. You can see some of them over here. You're gonna see hear a lot of voices in the background concerning these stations. Some of them, they have the different color schemes. Some of them they don't have it. One benefit or negativity about these is, take it as you see fit, is that some of them don't have the heating gauge here. That means that they can be used without heating. Usually these are older and smaller ones that Robs had. Now this is good when you're setting up your forward fire stations before you build everything else. They don't need to have a heating plant next to it and, you know, waste your resources for providing heat. Some of these fire stations, I'm not really sure if they should actually have heating connected to them. They can heat themselves, but there you go. You could definitely have options. And as previously mentioned, this is also only a fraction of the fire station that you can find there. At least I can count here 8 different fire stations made by Robs. Link description. Okay, let's try to move on. These are the kindergarten. Some of them are actually quite new. Some of them weren't even on the Mod Monday videos, but as you can see, again, number of workers working in them correlates with the number of kids they can take care. And you can see the bigger kindergartens over here. I believe they should have color schemes as well. You can adjust them as you see fit. Moving on, we have schools. This is the second stage in education of your people. Education, but still, schools, they vary hugely. You have up to well, you have enormous schools like this one with 45 teachers working in them. We're gonna check the capacities in just a second. So as you can see here, some of the buildings that we have, I will double check this. We have 540 students, 420, 240, 180. You have some of the schools, as you can see here, school of the 50s. That would be school that is more related to the age. If you want to start in your 50s and 60s and have your schools there, this is probably the perfect one to have. We're gonna build one of them real quickly just to show you how it looks like. It's classic brick building with an angled roof, and of course you have multiple skins for them if you wish to change it. Okay, this is a big one. I'm gonna start with this will be medical universities on the right hand side. In the middle we have technical ones with the technologies that we can research, and shamefully there's only one political university or headquarters of the Communist Party that you can see here. Again, these are only some of the universities. We will go and check them all out. I'm just gonna fly through them. As you can see, we have 3 of them in the medical. We have technical universities, there's 4 of them. I presented only 3. And then political party one, it looks like it's only 1. Could be my bad though. And University Hall of Residence would be the next one. That would be this line here. Some of them I used, that would be these bigger buildings, and some of them I only find out about that I haven't subscribed to, so maybe you can be faster than me and actually use them in a game. Bureaucracy has to expand to meet the needs of expanding bureaucracy. I forgot who said this, but we have city halls here, also known as accounting offices. It comes from the more affordable and smaller than vanilla game 1 accounting office or city hall / accounting office to huge buildings that employ 250 people for your capital cities, like these huge enormous buildings. Of course, details are there. As you can see, they are quite beautiful buildings. This is in glass. I didn't even check the color schemes on these. They are absolutely stunning. Right, and then we have this one on the left hand side. These are one of my favorite capital city buildings that you would have in your town centers. Of course, you can choose your own, whatever favorite you pick. Of course, we have Secret Police. Again, this is a new feature in the game, and we have new Secret Police. This would be a smaller one and a bigger one, so if you want to employ more or less people to do your dirty work a little bit faster. And again, like I mentioned previously, we have technical services. We're not gonna go through them again because there's so many mods, I didn't even remember that we already built them. So we have hotels. That would be the new feature for me in the game. I tried to avoid it previously because of the overpowering feature of the tourism that was just OP. Now I'm probably gonna be using it more. We have hotels, small ones with 3 stars. I believe most of them. No, there we go. We have one with 4 stars, at least it says here, even though it's not. Then we have 4 stars hotel here, and probably the biggest one over here with 50. Well, they would be sharing the biggest crown. A little bit of a personal sharing of information on the Robs side, at least. It's not really personal, it's in the comment section. For the longest time, he didn't even want to start on the factory front because he wasn't sure if he can implement this, but well, I tried to encourage him to do so because I was a really big fan of his previous mods. So we gonna present the factories. This is my favorite part of the Robs mods. These are the factories. Again, they are representations of the real-life mods, most of them, real-life buildings, most of them are. So let's get started. First things first, small and big food factories. I've been using them a lot, 30 and 10 ton productivity, but this is not a video about these mods being productive or not. This is a video about presenting all the mods they have here. Then we have distilleries, that would be breweries. Well, in this case that would be distillery and brewery being my favorite beer fan here. So we have a meat storage again, and then we have a slaughterhouse that would be 20 cows, 10 ton meat productivity, and of course Robs' farms. Continuing on, we have a sawmill and the wood cutting post. This is much bigger wood cutting post than vanilla. Price wise, I think it's also a little bit more expensive, but quite realistic. Even when you stack wood in here, it's stacked in these sheds. It's absolutely beautiful. Right, continuing on, we have a fabric factory and fabric factory. This one will be 5.8 tons and of course 5.8 tons. They're more or less the same, they're just the different sides of the same coin. They're not the same, they're same productivity, but if you want a little bit older one or a little bit newer one, you have it here. Continuing on, clothing factory, that perfectly fits with one of those fabric factories. It has productivity more or less the same as consumption of these. And then we have prefab panel factory, one of the bigger ones, not the biggest one. You're gonna see the biggest one, but this is a quite big prefab panel factory. Of course, we have a brick factory as well. I believe we have a smaller panel factory, or no, we have a just duplicate of this one. And of course we have a brick factory. I think this is a little bit less productivity than vanilla, or around the same, but hey ho, Robs' model. Okay, other side of the road, we're gonna go again brick factory, but we will go to chemical plant as well, 2.7 ton productivity. 18 AM, I hope that you're watching this. There we go, your favorite plastics. We have 2 processing plants. They might look like they're mirrored, but they are actually not. They're similar in construction, I believe. They're not, yeah, they're not mirrored. They're totally different. One of them is iron processing and the second one is coal processing plants. Again, one of my favorite buildings in the whole set. Well, actually, they're individual buildings. Continuing on, as you can see here, electronics assembly hall that we have here, and then we have electronics assembly hall here as well, 6 tons and 2.5 respectively productivity. And we have electrical components factory, a big sucker here. And then we have mechanical components. I believe we're missing a bigger mechanical components, and here we go, it is here. And finally, the biggest factory, probably not finally, but the biggest factory here is the vehicle production line. It's absolutely huge. It's the size of the small towns. It employs enormous amounts of people, 1,200 workers and 300 engineers to power this bad boy. And of course we have rail construction office. Yes, this is one of the things that we're missing in the Robs' setups. We're missing a smaller railroad construction office. We need smaller this. Robs, if you're watching this, smaller we're gonna need for public transport system constructions, not only for the big railroad construction. And of course a brick factory that we already saw, and prefab factory over here. Right, we're gonna start on something different now. We're gonna start something that I didn't cover at all, and this is definitely something that's gonna be really hard to cover. I was trying to choose my favorite buildings from Robs and the buildings that he implemented in his game. I will just choose a couple of them. Smallest one here, that would be one of the newer models, are definitely my favorites. Of course, from the medium-sized building, you have everything from 5 to 9, 10 floors, I believe. This one says 16. I'm not really sure if that's a 16 floors or not. Doesn't really look so, and no, definitely not. I'm not sure what the 16 number here is. Of course, you have, again, this is medium-sized buildings. They are not even bigger ones. I will just say that there's enormous amount of buildings. So if you want to go and check out all of them, these ones would be a little bit bigger. I will not present all of them because there's way too many of them. Some of them are not really that tall, but they do have capacity to fit into big building section. As you can see here, their Robs' buildings are the ones with the icon here, and there's absolutely ginormous amounts of them. This is 11, 22, 23, I believe, only in the big section. We have 36 here, if I didn't miss anything, and I probably did. I can see one that I missed, and then we have here around 10 to 15 buildings. That would be residential buildings, and this would be all. No, actually there's one more thing. Robs made a map as well, so this is Robs' map. I never played on this map. I did present it in Mod Monday. It's absolutely stunning, and I have no idea why I didn't. There are two versions of this map. This is, of course, populated one. I will show you how it looks like. Some of the name of the cities here, I don't think they are from vanilla names. You can see, okay, this one definitely is vanilla. Warstock is, maybe they are. Mormorsk, I'm not really sure if I ever saw that one, but anyway, Cishinek. Sorry, my Polish is absolutely horrible. This is again Hungarian part. It's pretty much flat map with a decent, quite a decent. Well, actually, half of it is flat. I believe this is a Lublin city area, and I believe city of Lublin would be taking most of this area. You can't really build a city. Well, you can build city like this, but you cannot build one-to-one map and expect to be one big city. Actually, maybe challenge accepted. We'll see about that. Of course, the western part is quite hilly. As you can see, resources are quite... they are in plenty places, but they're not so dense, any of them. And of course, you have big rivers here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there should be hydro dam here in real life, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, this is mod spotlight for Mr. Robs. Unfortunately, this is not a single mod. There's over 300 mods, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's around 350 mods or something like that, 320 mods altogether that he made. They're absolutely beautiful. Most of them are representations of the real buildings and from real life. And if you enjoy things like this, you can go and recheck if you're subscribed to all of them. If not, just it doesn't really matter. This is not sales pitch. This is just something that definitely influenced my gameplay of this game, and these are my favorite, one of my favorite buildings, and I'm a big Robs' fan. Anyway, if you enjoyed this kind of presentation, press the like button. If you didn't, leave a nasty comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, notification bell, ring it, comment section, hit it. If you want to support the channel, you have the description of the video. Guys, happy Friday. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye.